What we'd like to start on is getting to know one another a little better here. You may recall that we sent out a quiz for you to, or a form for you to provide us with some information about yourself. We're interested in knowing what your interests are and how to, essentially what the class body would look like in terms of knowledge of and interest in pathology and breeding and genetics and so on. So when those reports came back to Satguru, they were compiled into this presentation. So it will give us some idea of our interests here and our knowledge and history in the profession that we call plant breeding. So let me start here with this little bit of information. We've got 4 participants from Afghanistan. I hope I counted them right. 3 from Pakistan, is that right? How many from Pakistan?
We have 5.
5. Ooh, that's good. Nepal, we have a number of people from Nepal. Dr. Tapa's here. Sarvala. Who's all from Nepal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From Bangladesh? 5. 5 from Bangladesh. And from India, we've had a number of cancellations from India. 1, 2, 3. 3 from India. More coming, we think, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The promoter is coming today.
Okay.
Flower Day.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And who have I missed? Bhutan. Sangye. 1, 2, 3, 4 from Bhutan. I got that one right. Okay, from the faculty, those of us who are here and who have developed this course, Dr. Park from Australia, Dr. Hudson from Ethiopia. From Nepal, we're getting some help from Dr. Mahato and the Nepal team. Dr. Pretorius from South Africa and Dr. Neil McLaren from South Africa. Linda and myself from the USA. This guy you probably recognize. Is Robert here? Yeah. Robert speaks absolutely perfect Australian English. These guys, Dr. Pretorius and Dr. McLaren, speak absolutely perfect South African English. Afrikaans English?
Yes. Me, Neil's English speaking.
Neil is English speaking. This guy is from England, Dr. Hudson. His English is in fact perfect. At least because I'm from the USA, he reminds me of this from time to time. But how many of you have English as your first mother language, your mother tongue? How many, please? This is not a surprise, right? But what we have to understand is that English is not your first language, and we are here to learn. And so we have to make sure that we understand each other. And that means when we're presenting, we have to be very clear when we speak in English, in our English. But importantly, I think it is also up to you. When you don't understand something, you have to say, please repeat it, or explain again, or something like that. We also have a number of scientists in the room here who have a lot of experience in this art, science, and business of plant breeding and plant pathology. And when we have our roundtable discussion here, we'll confirm all the names, but we would like to have this roundtable discussion as we mentioned earlier toward the end of the week, and we'll have this conversation all the while we're here. So when we asked you to tell us what your profession was, and you could choose more than one, you could be a pathologist breeder or an agronomist breeder, but we have 7 people who are agronomists, we have 16 plant pathologists, 9 breeders, 3 geneticists, 1 physiologist, 1 seedsman. Last year, this was I'm in the way, I'm sorry. This is the composition of the class from the last time we were here in 2013. And we also asked you what kind of formal training, what kind of coursework you had in these subject matters. And so a lot of experience and training in agronomy and plant pathology, some in plant breeding, genetics, 2 people, experimental design, data management, seed technology, and so on. This was the priority of interest that you expressed also. So there's interest in surveillance activities, results and implications, race analysis, pathogen genotyping, rust collection, storage, and maintenance, the resistance genes of wheat and wheat relatives, utilization of genetic resources, variety release, adoption, and replacement. And so the average rank for all of these, based on what you told us, was everybody is interested, most interested in surveillance. They're next interested in the resistance genes of wheat and wheat relatives, rust collection, storage, and maintenance, and then race analysis and pathogen genotyping. And then utilization of genetic resources, and last was variety release, adoption, and replacement. So that gives us some idea of the flavor of what your interests are. Those were the classifications we asked you to give us, but then we also asked you what other interests you may have. And so there's a lot of interest in surveillance techniques, durable resistance, not a lot of interest in experimental design, data management, and statistics. Last year when we asked this question, the last time when we asked this question, everyone, many of the people who were in that session requested more information on statistics. Neil McLaren is here. We have organized 5 lectures, and so we're going to present those on a daily basis according to the schedule. Molecular markers, agronomy. This is a bit of a surprise. No one was interested in fungicides, and it provides for another area of protection that can be utilized. Race analysis, a lot of interest, and so on. So, the course outline you have is, as it stood last night, it's still under evolution. We may make some changes yet. We'll be giving our thought is to have a biometry lecture at the end of each day, and then a quiz in the following morning. And the reason for the quizzes is largely to make sure that the important things that we hope you have asked questions about and understood the day before, in fact, are not confusing to you. And so we hope to reinforce the important points. Robert has some software with him. It's a PowerPoint software. And so we'll put a question on the screen. You'll have a clicker in your hand, some of you, most of you. We'll give you some time to answer the question. It will display the results, and then we'll know whether you have any other questions about it, or whether we should revisit it again, or if we think the student body of the class has an understanding of the material. Lab exercises will be going out to Kumultar, the research station. We looked at them yesterday with Dr. Thapa and Sarala. They have some plants growing. They have a very nice, if you're a pathologist, I guess, a very nice yellow rust infection. We'll be going on a field tour with Dave will show us some of the principles involved in surveillance. All of the material, again, that's being presented, as well as a lot of other material, will be made available to you at the end of the session on a flash drive. Again, the roundtable discussion. And again, Linda will be presenting some information to you shortly here about initiating connections within the Rust community. And then at the end, we're going to discuss again maintaining those connections within the Rust community. I'm sure many of you are on Facebook, and maybe some of you are even, tweeting? So there's a lot of options to stay connected, LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these things. And so there are some groups that have been established to help maintain that connection. So again, please ask questions. we will all benefit from your question. And at the end of it, we will ask you to constructively criticize what you've been exposed to here. Last time we took that criticism into consideration as we develop this program you're about to see now. So we hope for continual improvement.